name is Emerald Lowe, and welcome to our best practices for sales and nonprofit fundraising. And we have a couple great companies here that are local to Oceanside, North County, that are going to be sharing some tips from you today. But before we get into that, just a little bit about today's meeting. It is being recorded. This meeting will be shared to our YouTube channel after the fact, so that way you guys can share this to your networks, because it's going to be some great information. And I would like to invite any of our attendees and presenters to hop on the chat at this time and go ahead and enter your contact information, so that way you can get a hold of each other after. And just a little reminder, we are going to take our questions in the chat function as well. So as we go through the presentations, we will keep participant mics muted, and we just ask that you leave those questions in the chat function, and we'll have some time reserved at the end to address those with each presenter. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and just pass it off to my colleague Hannah Gilbert to just share a little bit about her role at the Chamber before we hear from our presenters.
Thank you, Emerald. So my name is Hannah Gilbert. I am the Communications and Outreach Coordinator for the Oceanside Chamber. I've been with them for about 2 years. So I handle all of their marketing, any e-newsletters, social media, website, all that fun stuff. So if you have any questions, go ahead and contact me about any communication related subjects for the Chamber. Thank you.
All right, Hannah. All right, and a little bit about me. I've been with the Chamber for 3 years now, and I handle membership and our ad sales, as well as some of our networking events, forums, and webinars. So we're gonna move on over and hear from some of our presenters. So I'll just call on each of you to share a little bit about your background here. So Chris, I'll give the floor to you first.
Thank you, Emerald. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Good. My name is Chris Weiner. I am the Business Development Director for Alphagraphics of Oceanside. Been with the company for 3 years now, and absolutely love it. We work with businesses and help them with their printing, signage, and marketing projects. And yeah, I've been in Oceanside since the 60s under a different name. So been in the community for a long time, working with the city, trying to get that out.
All right, thank you, Chris. Next up, we're going to call on Erika. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Emerald. Hi, everyone. My name is Erika Rodriguez, and I'm the marketing specialist for Alphagraphics Oceanside. Been with the company for about 1 year, helping them with social media, blogs, and campaigns, and also the founder of Non-D Marketing, an eco-conscious digital marketing agency remotely based in San Diego.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Erika. And last but not least, we're going to call on Romeo.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Emerald. My name is Romeo Dalmacio. I'm a regional manager here with Business Payroll Services. We're a North County company. We're actually headquartered here in San Marcos. Been in the industry now for 12 years. I know I look really young. But yeah, 12 years in the industry, in the payroll service industry and HR. Side of things. I handle primarily the client retention and business development for Business Payroll Service, and then I actually oversee the sales and marketing team as well too. Business Payroll Service has been around since 2006. We just coming up almost now on our 15th year. In just a few months, we'll be celebrating our 15th year anniversary, servicing primarily North County, but actually just got the reports back that we're actually in 30 states. And which is nice, but just a little bit about that. Everyone outside of this state actually came from referrals, so this is actually great. But anyway, yeah, servicing North County, San Diego primarily, but we can service anywhere.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that, Romeo. So each of our speakers is going to cover a different topic today, but the theme between all of our presentations is going to be surrounding sales and nonprofit fundraising. So this is beneficial for anyone that's a small business, anyone managing someone in a sales role. If you're experiencing challenges in fundraising, you're going to get some great tips from our presenters on that today. So first and foremost, I'd like to pass the mic off here to Chris with Alphagraphics to jump in to his presentation. He's going to focus on some new sales tips for small business. So go ahead, Chris.
Thank you, Emerald. Yeah, once again, Chris Weiner with Alphagraphics. So I am going to share my screen here and back up a little bit. So yeah, what I want to talk about is effective marketing tips, what to do during coronavirus. So I know it can be very challenging to find, what to do and find out what is actually working. I know a lot of you are out there on the front lines responding to changes in real time. And if you're not working with a marketing company, it can be very challenging to figure out what to do and how to be effective. So many of the things that you thought you knew about your target audience are likely different now. And people are feeling anxiety, grief, some of the daily routines have changed. I know mine have. I know some out there have lost their jobs and some have closed their doors permanently. And so the challenge is there's not really a playbook on what to do in this type of circumstance. So, but it does not mean that we suddenly stop selling and stop what we're doing. So it's critical that we continue to move forward. So selling doesn't stop. Are fewer prospects going to answer your calls? Yes. Is it more difficult to get in front of people? Yes. COVID-19 has changed the sales landscape, and but I'm going to go over some best practices that have helped me to be more successful, and hopefully you guys will find some things that you can use as well. So, but first, want to debunk a myth. A common one that I hear is that people aren't buying right now, and that reminds me of a great Mark Twain quote that says, I've been through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened. And so I know some business out there are really struggling, and I don't want to sugarcoat it. You may have seen that sales are down and people aren't buying, but it's not healthy to believe that story that no one is buying. It will not serve you well, and it's certainly going to derail your selling practice and your marketing. So I have a saying that I've always used, and it is this: any lack of talent that I have, I can make up for with hard work. And I've always found that to be the case. So the first thing that we need to do is double down on our sales efforts. Focus on the things that we can be doing as sellers to be successful, take advantage of what we can, and try to position ourselves well into the recovery. So, first we need to change how we think about sales. So sales is a result or an outcome, while selling is a practice. And just like any practice could be high performance in any discipline, including sales, it's about mastering each element of the process, and there is no difference in selling. So what does doubling down look like? So for me, I had to double down on just my selling practices, my outreach, my phone calls and emails, making appointments, really paying attention to what my customers needed and wanted, responding to their needs, and then meeting them where they're at. And I'll explain more about what that means in a moment. I found the best way to stand out for me is simply just to pick up the phone. Call and actually speak to your customers, if for nothing else, just to ask them how they're doing and let them know that you're still thinking about them. I promise if they answer, they will remember you as being the one to reach out and check in. If no one answers, leave a quick message, because I may not always check my emails, but I always listen to my voicemails. And so it's absolutely critical that you continue to make sales calls. We just need to reorient the messaging a little bit and try to lead with some empathy. And it's definitely not just about spraying the marketplace with content. It's more about engaging with your audience. And, people are still buying. And it's my job as a salesperson to connect with my audience, figure out how I can support them right now, and offer that to them. And there's a great Napoleon Hill quote. I don't know if anyone has read his book, but it's fantastic. But he says, in every adversity lies the seed of an equal or greater opportunity. And so any way you look at it, now is a great time to really stand out and to make a difference in our customers' lives. So I have some techniques to help you connect with your audience and to be an agent of change where you can impact your community in a extremely meaningful way. And the first one is to meet customers where they're at. So what does that mean exactly? A good example of this is a while back I was working out at home and an ad popped up on my phone, and this was back when all the locations were closed. And the ad said, hey, look, you can still find your favorite Starbucks coffee at the grocery store. Okay, no big deal. A couple days later, I saw a banner ad. I was online shopping, saw a banner ad, and it said, hey, if you're craving Starbucks, they closed their stores on March 20th or whatever. But here's exactly where you could get your hands on Starbucks. You could go to a drive-through. You could order it from a delivery service. You can buy it right from the grocery store. But as a person in marketing, I immediately thought, wow, that's great marketing. My point is that Starbucks literally met me where I was at. And, I share this because it's insightful of where and how we need to modify our marketing to be successful in sales. And you do that by meeting people where they're at. So refine your messaging. And what does that mean? That means to connect what you offer to people right now. So pretending that things are normal, that we're not in the circumstances that we're in would be tone deaf right now. So we need to focus on exactly what people need right now at the moment. A good example of this would be when restaurants closed their inside service and just focused on carry out and delivery. Here at Alphagraphics, we created a whole marketing campaign around that, where we offered restaurants the things that we thought they would need, like to-go menus, curbside signage, banners that let people know that they're open for business. Erika created a blog that we thought that would have the information that restaurateurs and restaurant managers would want. And, I got lists of every restaurant in the area and started calling them and, sent email campaigns to them and really focused on everything that I thought that they would need. And the result was we sold a lot of products. I had my best months in sales that I've ever had while working for Alphagraphics during the months of April and May. And that's interesting because in March, I wasn't sure if I was going to even have a job to go to anymore. So experiment with new offers. And, I know a lot of people are considering, if they should be putting out new offers into the marketplace. And that's something that only, a business owner can decide. But, there is a silver lining, and that's to, try to anticipate your customers' needs and changes in buying behavior and think about new ways to reach them. For instance, if it's financially viable, maybe offer payment plans or reimbursements or no fee cancellations. We at Alphagraphics, we were able to put some clients on accounts which fit with their budget, especially like restaurants and gyms that had, no income coming in. So it was a big deal and it helped them a lot. Find new ways to connect. So, use, more people are spending time online, more people are spending time at home than they would in under normal circumstances. So get creative, start a blog, maybe connect with them through social media, do a newsletter. We've utilized a lot of direct mail, sending like insightful postcards that have, that really capture their attention. And, people are craving a connection. And that's something that there's always going to be a market for. So if you could reach them that way, even better. I say be agile with your marketing and advertising budget. So, I phrased it that way because I know a lot of people are operating on, restricted budgets, but we at Alphagraphics, we increased our marketing budget by 40% right when COVID started because, now is not the time to scale efforts back. Now's the time to focus more on how do we reach people and try to meet them where they're at. Be observant and philosophical. So ask questions, find out exactly what their business needs, how they've been affected. I know that during a crisis, people are particularly concerned about themselves and their situation. And I try to use that concern to to our advantage. So if I focus on them, I understand how they're doing, how they're getting through the crisis, how their business is affected. You know, when I walk into a business, there's no time for me to open up my brochure and start talking about myself and my business. It's the perfect time to focus on them and what their needs are. So focus on the customer experience. So for me, that, you know, well, in times like these, you know, brands, you know, we have to focus on the customer experience, provide them with the means to cope with the crisis, give them the information they would need, for instance, like with the restaurateurs, with the blogs that you know, we would update with COVID policies and the products that we thought they would need. But really just, we went above and beyond to really focus on the customers, to be empathetic, and to really prioritize the customer experience. We created an online, we have a web to print solution, so businesses could go online, order the products they need, proof it themselves, and then have it delivered to them. And so it reduced, you know, the face-to-face interaction, and customers were more comfortable with that. And so we put a lot of focus on that, and we've had really good results. And then transform into purpose-led marketing. Now, what exactly does that mean? So purpose-led marketing is about building relationships beyond just what you sell and what you offer, and focus on helping your customers, not just offering them products. And so that changes the focus. It redirects it to supporting your customers. But in short, really just find the people that you could actually help and focus on solving their needs, and you'll be successful. So I know no one can predict what's going to happen in the global pandemic, but you know, to survive and rise and be successful, we must stay sharp. And so I wanted to talk some more about some effective strategies for nonprofit marketing and fundraising. And so, you know, first and foremost, sorry, it keeps going back. First and foremost, it's extremely important to connect with your audience. So be positive. The first thing I want to do is encourage you to remain positive. You know, keeping in that mindset is really difficult in times like these, but it's super important. You know, nonprofits, they're seen as someone who's credible. They're seen as someone who is an inspiration, someone who is helping the community. And so the more positivity you can show and inject into the situation, you know, that always trickles down to the supporters, and you'll be able to better position yourself in front of people. Next would be to share quotes and feel-good stories. And so from a marketing standpoint, what you could do is get some quotes and some feel-good stories and share them with your audience. You know, that gives them more hope. It's more lighthearted and positive, and it's something that people are always consuming. It's a great time to reach out, and you know, people are likely to be home. They have more time to check their mailbox, to get on social media, to open the mail, to find other social outlets. And so if you have any positive stories, now is a great time to share that, and you know, maybe even show the impact that they've had by being on the front lines. You create some good content around that, and really show people what you're doing to help them. Next would be to communicate how you're being impacted. So we do this by updating our website. We do some social media posts. We send emails, really showing the community how we've been impacted by the coronavirus. And whether that is you're working remotely, or maybe you're a social enterprise and had to shut down your operations, be transparent with the community about what's going on as a nonprofit. A good example of this is KOCT. We did a project for them where they did a mailing direct mail campaign fundraiser, and you know, explained the current situation that they were in, and they had a lot of success with it. So you know, just keep in mind that people are still out there who are in a position to donate. I've noticed also that the community as a whole, especially the city of Oceanside, has been super supportive to the organizations within it. So make sure that your content is value or impact driven. And what that means is with any communication or new information that you share with your audience, be that a newsletter or a social media post or a postcard, always keep your donor in mind. So you always have to ask yourself the question, what will get my donor excited? And you know, what's going to make them feel good? Because when it comes down to it, people are donating to nonprofits because they feel good about it. It's pulling on some sort of heartstrings that they have. And so if you lead with that value and show the impact that you're making and sharing your return on investment that they've gotten from contributing to your organization. So for instance, if they donated last year and you're showing them what you're doing with their contribution this year, that's going to be great marketing content. And lastly is make relevant pivots. And that just means make real-time adjustments, acknowledge the situation that you're in, share that with your community, how you're being impacted, and make the changes that you need to do to be successful. Now is no time to stay static. You know, so we need to make adjustments as we go along. Next, I want to talk about some of the nonprofit pain points that they experience the most. And so what do nonprofits struggle with the most? And the top 4: budgets and fundraising, building database lists, finding volunteers, and new ideas. And so I'm just going to focus on one of those. That would be budgets and fundraising. And how do nonprofits raise money? So when it comes to fundraising, all successful nonprofits have one thing in common, and that is diverse funding sources. So there's a couple of top ways that nonprofits get money. And, you know, there is a misconception that grants are the top ways that nonprofits raise money. At least that's what I thought initially before I got in this business. But it turns out that's not actually true. Individual donations is the number one way that nonprofits raise money, and it makes up about 75% of all donations each year across the country. So it's especially important to always be cultivating great relationships with individual donors. And those donors, they could come in a couple different forms. They could be one-time or automatic contributions that are automatically withdrawn, or they could come in the form of major gifts. Next would be corporate sponsorships and donations. And that usually happens in the way of a corporation will sponsor an event, or in some cases, they'll match donations of an employee or another group. Grant foundations, so those are either community foundations or private foundations. And fundraising events. So these are great for raising awareness. They're great for building up your network of potential donors. They are a lot of work, and they're unpredictable because you don't know how much you're going to get from fundraising events. And Erika will talk more about that because, you know, COVID has changed the landscape where, you know, it's very challenging for nonprofits to hold events, and especially those nonprofits that was a main funding source for them. And lastly would be earned income, and this means that you're selling some kind of product or service to raise money for your organization, and that would be something like Goodwill, you know, where they sell products. But there is no fundraising strategy that's perfect for everyone. You know, you need to find the right fit for your nonprofit, what works best with you as an organization and your employees, and then choose the fundraising strategy that makes the most sense for your specific mission. There is one common thread of all 5 funding sources, and that is relationships. So in all cases, having strong relationships with the people in your community, with the potential funders and your existing donors that are already supporting you, those are going to go a long way in making sure that you are getting the sustained support that your organization needs to grow over time. The best thing you could do is get out there, get in front of people, go to networking events or Zoom events, you know, do direct mail, create a blog or a newsletter. Just get your mission out, your name out there, and really try to create relationships and get people to know you. And so, you know, if I could help with any of that at Alphagraphics, you know, I'd definitely love to. Please reach out to me. And that's all I have. And thank you very much. I'm going to pass over to my colleague, Erika, who's going to talk more about the digital side of fundraising. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris, and we'll give Erika just a minute to pull up her presentation here. If you guys have questions here during our brief intermission, go ahead and enter those in the chat function.
All right, you guys can hear me? Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Chris. So yeah, I will start. As you guys know, my name is Erika Rodriguez, and I am marketing specialist for Alphagraphics Oceanside. I also am the founder and CEO of Marketing, which is a digital marketing agency focused on eco-conscious businesses and organizations. And so today I'm going to be covering how to pivot your nonprofit event fundraisers to digital fundraisers. And I wanted to start off by just kind of laying it all out there, just because I know that digital fundraising is a new territory for most. And so I just created a list of all the pros and cons. And I wanted just to go through this, just to, again, lay it all out there. And so with pros, you know, with digital fundraisers, you can certainly reach a larger audience compared to an event that is geographically limited. There is a less financial risk with most digital fundraisers than events, just because there's no venue, there's no catering or other event-based vendors. Digital fundraisers usually just pay for the software, which I'll talk about next. And with digital fundraisers, you can certainly tailor the experience to your attendees with a live stream event or engaging with them on social media. Online giving is quicker and easier for donors. A clean website or a landing page makes it easier for, for donors to, buy those raffle tickets than selling raffle tickets at events that only take cash, which I've seen before, or having a donation page where there's already, donation increments, or how Chris said that, you're really laying down the message of where those donations are going to lie. So one nonprofit that I did see, they told me like exactly if $25 was, if I donate $25, this is where it was going to go. Or if I donated, $100, how many children would I be able to vaccinate or something like that. There's just all these different ways of marketing that you can put in with your donors. And with online, it's just a lot quicker and easier to lay it all out there on like a simple landing page for them. And could you, with digital fundraisers, you definitely collect high quality attendee data. And so what I mean by this is from the very start of your fundraiser to, registration, you can see how many people are showing up. So you get your show up rate, you get your engagement rate, maybe with like polls and quizzes that you're doing. You can do the donation distributions, and you can get the data on, who bought registration tickets, who bought raffle tickets, who bought, different kinds of packages and everything. And with the feedback form respondents, it's a lot easier just to send that off because your fundraiser is on the online platform that, if you were to do this with an event, in all honesty, it might be something that, is just left behind, and you don't actually review that data for your next fundraiser. And then going really quickly for the cons of digital fundraisers, like I mentioned before, it is new territory for most. So just it comes with a lot of like overwhelming amounts of new technology just being on the platform. So the tech might be overwhelming if you don't have someone that knows about all the platforms. Online events have a higher rate of registration with no-shows due to Zoom fatigue. So as we are all working from home, we are experiencing this Zoom fatigue, and our digital fundraisers need to be more engaging and fun for attendees. It needs to be honestly worth their time to attend. And going along with that, attendees have a shorter attention span due to the Zoom fatigue. So we just really need to engage them from the very start of the fundraiser to the very end of the fundraiser. There is less of a revenue stream compared to an event. With an event, you might have sponsors, you might have partnerships, you might have different sides of printing that you can display all of them to capture those events to capture those sponsorships and partnerships. With digital, there is a less revenue stream, but I'll talk about this more on how you can engage your audience and engage your sponsors and partnerships to sponsor different packages and stuff like that. Less networking and interaction. So just this is the nature of online. With an event, you have your program for the event, but sometimes, you know, when you're at an event, there's just some human interaction that's going on that is out of your control. So people are meeting at the tables, people are meeting at the hallways. Honestly, people are meeting in the bathroom. It's just, there's so much interaction that you don't have control of. But with online, there is going to be that less networking and less interaction. But I'm going to show you how you can engage with your audience with social media and try to get them way more engaged. So next, I'm going to be talking about the software options for virtual fundraisers. So I've had mostly I've done all of the live streaming with Zoom. There's also Google Meet that some fundraisers go through, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Instagram Live. It depends on how you want to choose what platform to integrate with the live streaming. And some of the platforms, like if you use the Zoom platform, you can actually integrate that with Facebook Live. So there definitely are pros and cons for each one of them, but it's totally up to you and where your donors or target audience are more willing to view. For auctions and mobile bidding, I've done one for one client before, and they actually integrated their own system. So these are a couple popular ones that I found online for you. For races and walks, it's just a couple of them that I've seen, like Charity Footprints. And then for peer-to-peer fundraising, which I'll talk about a little bit more, there's just a couple of options for you as well. Classy, which you guys might know, is also a San Diego-based company. So I always say try to go with a little bit of local, but there's different options. And with a quick Google search, you can definitely look for more options. I will say that just as a pro tip, a lot of these do provide like a nonprofit discount. So just make sure to search those options as well. And I'm going to show you how you can pivot your event fundraisers to online. And I've chosen 3 to go over just quickly. And the first one is a 5K. So with a 5K, or this can be any activity that is like a individual sports activity. If you guys have a 5K or a bike, you can change that into a virtual 5K or a bike-a-thon, a walk, a scavenger hunt. I've seen all turned into virtual. And so with this, with setting a date and time, this is just basically where everyone is going to do that. Have them pay a registration fee and sell a wrist shirt, metal bibs, and photo props as part of the package. You can add a theme, which I love adding a theme for marketing purposes, and it brings a lot of your branding, brings it all as one, very concise. You can create a virtual package, which the virtual social media kit I'll go more into depth. Or you can even create a virtual store, which I've seen, and that is where you can allow your sponsors or your partnerships to create discounts or something like that, or buy one get one free, and put that all into a virtual store. Add peer-to-peer fundraising. So with participants, you can ask them to seek donations for the number of miles they run or the hours they train for, and then a virtual ceremony highlighting the fastest times and the participants with the most funds raised. So you can see a screenshot there of just the person that won, and encouraging people to post on social media. So with the package that you create, for example, like this one on the screen, that has the race shirt, the bid, the medal, and the photo props, thinking of how you can engage with people online and on social media of, you know, having photo props already for them or having them print at home, you know, different signage and everything. So I will show you some examples that I've seen, one in San Diego actually, but the woman on the left, you can see that she purchased this outfit for a 5K that had everything that I mentioned, even a matching tutu. And so just wearing that with her virtual 5K. Also, you can encourage people to print at home signage. I virtual 5K because and write the reason why they are supporting your nonprofit is amazing. And then also, you know, and like I mentioned with the theme, this one, a mother and her child celebrating an 80s theme 5K with, you know, printed bibs that, you know, children can color at home and stuff like that. There's definitely a lot of ways that you can engage with your audience with the print at home kind of posters, and then also just the kit and promotional items that you are providing for them. And so next is a silent auction in person, and this can be changed into an online auction or a yard sale to promote secondhand items. And the right-hand picture is a picture of one of my clients with Non-Do Marketing, the Boys and Girls Club San Diego, and then also the Del Mar Rotary Club, that they had an online silent auction that I helped them with. And so this, of course, could be a standalone or an add-on to any of your fundraisers already. The thing that helped us most was actually creating relevant packages for staying at home, because we know our audience is at home right now and they need to be engaged. And so a lot of the packages that actually sold were virtual friendly auction item ideas. So streaming services, you know, not the simple Netflix and Hulu that everyone has, but really, you know, people that, you know, want to watch HBO or have YouTube Live, some of those. Tech toys are really popular, online classes, staycation packages like a food delivery gift card, a backyard gardening kit. I remember that sold. A lot of wine sold, of course. Kitchen appliances, a bike or kayak for social distancing activities, and then different baskets like a backyard camping basket and a lotto ticket basket. And then we already talked about some silent auction software that you could use. Again, what they used, they kind of had someone that was very techie and created one of a simple landing page, but I did love how they had their thermometers and they were very transparent of where their goal was and how with the donations that were coming in, you could see the thermometer, you know, raising up, which was really nice. And with their messaging across all of their where the donations are going to go, they split them into different services. And so I did love all of that messaging. That was really clear on their landing page. Where are we at? Oh, okay. And then we did have fixed price items. So for anyone that wanted to buy, you know, fixed price items of wine bottles or anything like that, that was added onto the page, and that did quite well. Before we actually opened the silent auction, we had people preview auction packages, and we allowed people to look at them and post them on social media just to get more of the excitement. And then we added a raffle onto it on the page. Some other ideas that I did see is you can add a mystery box, or you can have some wine pools to the page. And this can be added to the page, or it can be added to the closing live event. Depends on what you'd want to do. For our closing live event, they did have some musicians come in, and I'll talk about that next. And then they showcased an event countdown clock, which was pretty exciting. And so you can tell that, you know, the closing live event was going to soon be closed. And so we wanted to foster some last minute competitive bidding. We highlighted donation progress and we recognized donors. So that was all encompassing in the closing live event. And then any unsold packages we sent with a post-event email. So, and with that, with the Del Mar Rotary Club, they exceeded their expectations, raising 130% of their goal. And so just kind of taking all these tidbits for you guys. Hope that helps. And then my next one is going to be a live entertainment event. So, and moving that to a live stream event. So if you have a concert, a movie, or a talent show, maybe those could be some that you pivot into a live stream event. And so this is an example that I took from USD, and I actually purchased this. So this was what got me, and that's why I wanted to share it with you guys. So they asked people to purchase a ticket to their event. It was a toast to their wine event, and they set up an event box available to purchase. And so this one was, they had one that was a box for one and a box for two for any date night or couples or best friends. So I purchased this box for me and my best friend that also went to USC, and we wanted to support, and this is what we got. So just wanted to share with you what the box entailed. It entailed 2 wine glasses, a bottle opener, a wine stopper, treats for 2 to pair with your wine, a trivia game card, some information about USD, of course, and the winery information that they partnered with. It gave us some fun wine swag for 2 to participate in the virtual toast. So just engaging activities with that live stream event, and then 4 additional entries into the Wine Classic participant raffle. So I thought this was a great example to show you because it was so engaging for us. And right when we opened it, it brought us so much excitement, and we are ready to live stream with that event. I loved how it came up with, you know, you have to get a few things that you can engage with the live toast. And we took pictures on social media and shared it with our USC community. And some additional ideas that I had was creating a family box of 4 or so. So that could be another way of engaging. And then also setting up a video for musicians or talent for the live stream at home. And then some additional bonuses. You know, if you're doing a live stream event, you can do behind the scenes, or you can do a meet and greet with different band members or something, or the talent that you're bringing on. So those are a couple more ideas for you guys. And then moving to marketing channels to use for your digital fundraisers. So I know that this can be overwhelming. There's certainly so many marketing channels that you guys can utilize, but for a fundraiser, I just wanted to focus on a website or landing page, and just to make sure that it's a clean one, where it is a clean fundraiser landing page to direct all your potential donors and attendees to. For social media, just to engage with your attendees, you can create a countdown to the event. You can do a Facebook event for that fundraiser and encourage all of your ambassadors to invite all of their friends to. And with every single like Facebook event post, every person would get a notification for it and reminding them about the event, or reminding them whatever you're posting of highlighting donors or anything like that. Highlighting packages that you are selling or anything encompassing video is very highly recommended for social media, because so many people, you know, with social media, they say that you have less than 3 seconds to, you know, keep them from scrolling. And that is honestly so true, and possibly even less than 3 seconds. So if it is a video, it is going to be more encouraging for them to kind of, you know, not read and focus, but maybe listen and hopefully get your message across. For email marketing, just to take advantage of your email list. I know some clients that, you know, they might have a big email list and they're not even sending, you know, those potential donors to their event or anything like that. So take advantage of your email list. Partnerships, utilize your partnerships and see if they can share your event on their marketing channels. With public relations, I know especially with the Rotary Club, they didn't even have anything for public relations. And so I just drafted up a quick press release and seeing if I can get that out. We were on the Del Mar Times that they got featured. And we also took advantage of just the virtual community calendars that are usually free to post. And so we had a lot of success there, that I was able to post their fundraiser to 30+ different online platforms. And like I said, they're mostly free to just submit your event, and you don't know who that will reach out to. And so I definitely encourage you to look up some community calendars. And then direct mail, as Chris talked about already, is another great marketing channel to deliver your message. And then ambassadors. The last thing I want to talk about is ambassadors, because don't forget, your staff, your volunteers, and other supporters, because they are your ambassadors. And if they really believe in your nonprofit's mission and what you guys, are fundraising for, then they're going to post on social media. They're going to invite their friends to the Facebook event. They're going to spread your email and send it to other people. And so always remember that they are your first ambassadors, and then count on them to be part of your community. And my last two slides are just going above and beyond for fundraisers, and really thinking about how you can provide a package to your ambassador, to your community, to help them spread your message for that virtual fundraiser. So one thing that I created was a social media kit, or it could be a marketing kit. And what I want to encompass in that and encourage you guys to create for your next virtual fundraiser is, starting with an image or creative asset or video for your fundraiser. And just remember, this can encompass website banners. Every social media account, like an Instagram, have different sizing. So it actually helps if you create one that's a Facebook image, one that's an Instagram image, one that's a Twitter image. So, with Twitter, if you post, for example, if you post on Twitter and it's an Instagram image, it's going to get cut off. And so just remember that each of the social media accounts have their own sizing. You can promote with a promotional flyer or a pre-event and post-event. So what I think is with images, if it's like a race or something and you want to get people maybe to even start like a countdown if they're fundraising for you, create one that's maybe like a week out, 5 days out, 3 days out, 1 day, and then here's the day where I'm going to like run, and they would be more encouraged to post that. And going along with that, templated posts for all of your social media, I highly encourage that, just because with a lot of people, including myself, it is a lot easier for me to take a templated post and edit it to whatever I want to spread the message to, but I at least have that templated post that they provided me. And remember, again, with social media, there's, for different social media accounts, there's different ways to have templated posts. So for Twitter, for example, you can only have 280 characters, and that's a tweet. So just remember that you want to provide templated posts that are for the platform. Third, a specific hashtag for the event. So I definitely encourage that, just so for anyone that is part of your community that's promoting your virtual fundraiser, they can highlight that with the hashtag, and you can find them a lot more easier if you want to repost. A sample email, if they want to send it out to anyone else, a sample text, that is quite new, so they can, copy and paste that text and send it to all of their friends. A print at home creative and printable, like we saw with the 5K. Zoom backgrounds, we're all on Zoom right now, so if you can create one for your fundraiser that tells a little bit of information about your fundraiser on the corner or has that logo, when it comes to networking, people are going to ask about that, and that is a conversation starter right there. Info sheets, how to set up or how to customize your peer-to-peer fundraising page. I've seen that before, and I thought that was really unique. PowerPoint, a press release, or incentivize social media postings with a giveaway, which I've seen before and I've participated in. So, if they got me, then you'll probably get someone else as well. And then last slide that I wanted to show you guys were some event fundraiser kits. So like I mentioned with the USD fundraiser that I actually purchased, these are some, just engaging ways that you can help with your virtual fundraisers. And if it is keeping it relevant with masks, thermometers, and hand sanitizers, that's a way to do it. If everyone's at home, you might want to think about a lawn sign, or just experiencing of those small wins for donors, which I've seen with the Pink Ribbon Wall of Money, where they encourage their donors to purchase this. And then for each one that they get of volunteers, they will put that ticket into their piggy bank per se. And it just keeps them engaged. If I only have a couple more left, like, let me try to strive for that. And it's just those small wins. And then last, with the rosé, it's just part of an event that happened. I mean, that's the same one close to USD. It's so engaging and it makes me want to purchase that. So there's a couple of examples, and I hope that helps to pivot your event fundraisers to digital. So next, I'm going to pass it on to Romeo from Business Payroll Service.
All right, thank you for that, Erika, and we'll give Romeo just a second to get his presentation up on the screen. If you guys have questions for either Erika or Chris, go ahead and enter those in the chat function.
Can everybody see that? Can anybody see that? Yeah? Good. Okay, great. All right. Appreciate you guys, Chris and Erika. Gosh, that's a lot of great information to follow up on. I don't even know if I need to talk anymore because you guys pretty much said everything. But I'm going to just briefly kind of go over a couple different things that I put together. I want to talk mainly about two things. I'll keep it quick, simple, and precise. Two things I just really want to focus on is just connecting with former clients and client retention. So I'm really switching gears and following up on what Chris was talking about on the sales side of things. So I know Emmy's really good at this. I should have had her do this presentation, but she kind of pawned it off to me. So I said, okay, I'll get this done for you. But anyway, connecting with former clients and then client retention. Just a couple of slides, guys, real quick. So let's start at the bottom. I kind of put this pyramid together just to kind of give a basis of what to expect and kind of what to follow, right? 80–90% of people are illustrative learners. So if they kind of see something like this, it gets them engaged, which I'm actually going to talk about. So the base of this pyramid that I'm going to, if we kind of look down to the bottom of the pyramid, keeping clients informed and engaged, a lot what Chris was talking about, right? What are we doing as a company? What are you doing as a company, as the employer? What is going on as far as business operations? What we're doing to better service our clients? New products and services. What are we doing to, to keep up with what's going on, right? With COVID, we're having to set everybody up on Zoom and keep everything remote. I personally don't like that. I know Chris doesn't like that. I like to be out there and shake hands and talk to everybody. And then adapting to the current market is huge. Again, what's going on, and then keeping up with innovation. We just recently released a facial recognition clock. So with this whole new COVID thing, it's nice because employees just walk into their place of business and just look at the clock, and it clocks them in, out, lunch. So it's actually pretty neat. I think I actually have one right here. Let me grab it real quick. I actually didn't even prep for this. I actually wasn't even going to do this, but I thought I'd wake you guys up a little bit. So this is a facial recognition clock. You just kind of look into the screen right there, and it just clocks you in. The nice thing about it is, you can use a proxy card, right, to clock in, and your PIN pad. But anyway, other than that, I think that's pretty cool. So again, keeping up with innovation. What are we doing to keep up with what's going on? The second part of the pyramid is referrals. This is huge for us. This is huge for any B2B, right? Including B2C as well too. So sharing contact information, touching up on what Erika had mentioned, right? Social media is huge. Sharing contact information. We'll do a post on we just started our Instagram, right? We're in our office here in North County. We're real old school. We do handwritten thank you cards. That's what we do, but social media is nice too. So use that platform as well. And then focus on sharing contact info once every week. So pick a client, that you haven't really spoken to in the past, and then just kind of, reach out and see what we can do for them, or what you can do for them. And then who can we connect them with? What are their needs? Not just for us from the payroll side, but, if they need signs, I'm going to reach out to Chris, seeing if we can get them in contact with with other clients. So that's a second part of the pyramid. The third part is consumer support. This is another huge thing for us. Purchasing goods. We ever so often here at our office, we're golfers, right? So we have these little putt-offs. I know it sounds weird. You probably don't even think we work at all. Anyway, we have these putt-offs, and then we say, okay, whoever gets it in the hole first has to buy, smoothies. So we go and support our local smoothie shop down the street, which we run payroll for. So things like that, just to kind of, not only with goods, but also services, right? We use the dental office down the street that we service. So again, any way we can support as far as a consumer, on the consumer standpoint, for self, for family or friends and other clients, which is crazy. Another cool story, I just wanted to, again, throw this in here. We were onboarding 2 new businesses, and at the same time, and we actually found out that they knew each other. Both owners knew each other, right, from school, from college, I think from a graduate program. Anyway, so our goal, what to do is to reconnect them. So what do? We actually onboarded another client as a restaurant, and we went and just bought a gift card from them. And then so we used that gift card to connect the 2 other clients together. So now we're supporting three clients. So that's another option to really think about. But we like to think outside the box, and that's Johnny and I, the account executive here at Business Payroll, we kind of put that together because we were both sharing differences as far as the onboarding process with the new client. We're like, how cool would it be to bring these 2 together after 10, 15 years? How cool would that be? So that's for consumer support. And then following up. So the green part of the pyramid, following up, daily, weekly, monthly, it's all about setting the standard. What is your standard? Is your standard just saying, hey, welcome to our company, good luck? If that's the standard, that's what they're going to expect. For us, we do a ton of touches. We focus on nurturing the client relationship. I reach out, I'll even text message, and say, hey, what is it? Do you need anything from us? And then also fulfilling promises, especially in the B2B industry, when you're saying, hey, I could do this, I could do that. Well, it's time to walk the walk. So, fulfilling those promises is a big thing for the client retention. And then listening is a big thing for us. Another example is when I'm talking to a client, hey, how's it going? They're like, oh, just tired a little bit, but everything's going good. I'll take that, tired a little bit. I'll go to one of our clients' little coffee shop. I'll go get a gift card and send them a little thank you card and say, hey, I know you're a little tired, but here's a little pick me up, just to say, hey, we care about you. We're all about servicing. And that goes into the top part of the pyramid, accessibility. Being accessible is huge, right, in the B2B industry. And then also being very accessible. So you always want to be very accessible. That includes emails, calls, text messages. I know our team here is all about that. I get text messages at Saturday at 9 p.m. needing a manual check because they termed an employee. Well, I'm going to do it. So it's all about being accessible, right? And then the last part of that accessibility is over service. Kind of touch on what I just talked about, over servicing the client, going above and beyond. Again, just listening to what they have to say, oh, hey, how's your weekend? Oh, my weekend went well. We went to this awesome restaurant. It was great food. Oh, which restaurant is that? Oh, it's, Dominique's, at the harbor. And then I'm like, okay, great. That's a client we service. I'm going to go and get a gift card and send it over to them and say, hey, lunch is on me next time. So just little things like that. Again, over service, which is great. And that's what's nice about our company, about Business Payroll Services. We have the ability to do that, because we're local payroll company and we care a lot about our clients, and we're just really involved with the community. So hopefully you guys are awake after that. Okay, great. The next slide I want to talk about, which is kind of almost like an oxymoron to client retention, right, is connecting with former clients. So thanks, Emmy, for giving me this. Really 3 things that I kind of want to touch on at the very, very bottom, which is the outside ring, a client loss. How did they become a client loss? Did they terminate services? Did they opt out to not to renew services? Is it a financial matter? Is it a satisfaction matter? Like, what is it exactly? that they are a client loss, okay? The second part of the ring, which is the green ring, is client solutions. How can we fulfill their needs? You know, there's really no science to it. You know, if they had issues with satisfaction, you know, what is it we can find out and really come up with a solution to fix that? Is it a financial matter? That's simple, you know? And I say this like I know it all, right? But financial matter, right? So focusing on, you know, what can we do to help them with their costs? Is it too much for them? Do they need to go to a lower package? Is it, and, you know, you're just trying to find out those scenarios where you're focusing on their needs. Again, not what you provide, but your needs. Because it's easy for me to pitch what we offer, but sometimes it's like hieroglyphics to them. They don't really need all that. They just want payroll, right? I'm talking about WOTC. I'm talking about employee onboarding. I'm talking about facial recognition time clocks. But really at the end of the day, it's like, what do they need in order for them to be successful? So the client solutions, you know, focusing on what that is. And then the middle part of the ring, the gray ring, client retention, that goes back to the pyramid, you know, focusing on that. So if we can just get in this cycle, right, of understanding these processes, understanding what needs to be done, then, you know, especially in B2B, you know, it's client retention should be fairly great. You know, unfortunately, it's not 100%, you know, with client retention, but you could get dang near close to it if you really focus on the pyramid, and then also focusing on this, you know, on the 3 rings. So I kind of put this illustration together just to kind of give you a brief outline, you know. Again, I'm an illustrative learner. I like looking at things, you know, but yeah, that's really all it comes down to. You know, Chris touched base on a lot of stuff, you know, shaking hands, you know, just fulfilling their needs. And then also with Erika, social media is big, you know, focusing on digital marketing, which we haven't done so much on, but, you know, we're having to do that. And in other ways too, I was thinking about it the other day, like COVID really forced us to go back to the drawing board, right? And I'm sure it has everybody here on the Zoom call. It really forced us to go back and really look at our processes. And to be honest, I thought our processes were top notch, but we found gaps, we found holes that we needed to fill. And so doing this, you know, client retention was great because COVID forced us. It forced us to get better. And I know a lot of, you know, businesses that we work with are like, oh, this is terrible, you know, especially with sales. But to be honest, like it was good for us because we wanted to get better, you know, and so it forced us to get better. And then that's, you know, that's the outline of what I wanted to talk about. Hopefully I didn't bore you guys too much, but yeah, like I you know, client retention is huge. I went back. I only have 3 slides. Sorry, guys. But this pyramid, I think, says it all, you know. So informed and engaged, referrals, consumer support, following up, and accessibility, you know. Oh, and then also, too, on the client, you know, on the lost client side, we had one client, we would reach out, right, and do these thank you cards, you know, for allowing us to be of service, even if it was years back. You know, we would still help them. Like we're helping a former client that's not with us, but we're still offering them HR services. So, you know, things where you can kind of overservice are great, even if you have the ability to do so. But other than that, yeah, that's kind of my presentation.
Well, thank you for that, Romeo. If you guys have any questions for Romeo or any of the other presenters, you can go ahead and you know, ask those now. We can open up the mics here. We just have a couple more attendees that stuck around. But I want to thank each of our presenters today, first and foremost, you know, for giving their time, you know, in very vastly different fields. You know, I just want to give a big shout out to Chris and Romeo here as, you know, top sales reps here in the area, and to Erika for doing a great job thoroughly marketing Alphagraphics here in North County. We're seeing you guys everywhere. So hopefully you guys got a lot of great takeaways today. And if our attendees are still listening here, I'd like to give each of you a chance to just share, any questions, or if you have any specific concerns related to your industry or your specific nonprofit. Now would be the time to pick our presenters' brains. So first, I'll call on Edith, if you can hear us, Edith.
Hi, good morning.
How are you? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. This was very insightful. I appreciate all the wonderful information and very relevant to this time, so I appreciate it.
Great. And if you don't mind sharing, who are you joining us with, Edith?
I'm with our Operation Bigs program, serving military youth in one-to-one mentoring through Big Brothers Big Sisters of San Diego County.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. And then last but not least, we have Maria. If you're here, Maria, you can go ahead.
Hi. I just want to say thank you. I'm actually considering starting my own nonprofit to support military families. And I've done some work in past organizations with the Chamber, but really just wanted to hear about the fundraising. And I particularly enjoyed the information that was shared from all of you about, virtual fundraising and marketing virtually. Times have definitely changed. So all of the information that you provided was very insightful. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you for that, guys. We know that your time is stretched as business owners and, running these nonprofits. So we'll make sure to wrap up all of the information that's been shared in the chat function, as well as all of our presentations today. So if you registered for this event, you will be getting that chat. And once again, since this meeting is recorded, we will be sending the link out to everyone. So once again, thank you all so much for attending. We really appreciate your time, and hopefully you join us for the next one. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.